Good evening and welcome all you guys, gals, and non-binary pals of the internet, and welcome to another Elite Ensemble review. Oh my goodness. I am Mikey, also known as El Jefe of these BC WrestlePod parts, and tonight we are about to dive into Dynamite and Collision with this lovely duo that's going to be joining me tonight to make this a trio. First and foremost, you gotta love him because he is amazing, and if you say otherwise, I will fight you on sight. It is Chris Statlander himself, Mr. JVL. Yeah.
Glad to be here. Glad to be talking about a non-PLE week, so we actually can enjoy storyline.
Oh my gosh, for real, you guys. More on that in a little bit because I say that and I was like, oh yeah, we're good. And then I look at October, I'm like, oh. Well, actually, the last week in September, is going to be crazy because it's nothing but pay-per-views for everything. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But I'm happy you are here, JVL. And somebody who I am also happy is here this evening is Mr. Benny DeBear. DeBears, who is in the house. I'm happy to have you tonight, my friend. I'm glad you're here.
Well, greetings and salutations, friends. Let's rock and roll.
Heck yeah. We'd love to see that. Unfortunately, we are missing our fourth co-host, El Professor. The professor is not here, but he's probably going to be hit and miss for the next couple of weeks because he is back into the college professor life. And I think he has 2 plays going on right now. So man's probably not going to be seen until Thanksgiving. So we shall see what happens.
Mikey, we've known for about a year and a half now. The professor goes on Roman Reigns' schedule now. He just comes in for 3 shows, maybe a PLE. Then he leaves for a half a year, and then he'll pop up again. He's on other shows because he likes them better than us, apparently. But
Oh, stop. I mean, anyway, no, I'm just kidding. No, the fall is always busy for BC WrestlePod, so it comes down to, I don't want to say the skeleton crew, but it comes down to a lot of folks. But also those folks who are usually part of the carrying during this fall is also currently on a break. But you know what? It is fine as well. Because we got 4 people currently out on that Roman Reigns schedule. But that is okay. So half of them will be coming back in a couple of weeks. So, but it's very warranted.
You say that, and then we're going to steal their shoes, and then we're never going to know where they are. So
look, the difference is between this fall versus last fall. This fall, there's enough people that we can go around, and if we don't do a review, we're fine. I'm not having an existential crisis about it. But I will say behind the scenes is a little more work for me, but that's fine. I got a system down, so we're good to go. But enough about my existential crisis. We're here to talk about All Elite Wrestling, AEW television, where again, to match your sentiment, JBL, it's so nice to just talk about a regular Dynamite and Collision.
Right?
I'm just really happy that that's the case here. But before we get into all of that, really quickly, we're going to speed run through, the intro bit. If you like what you see here on your screen, whether that's via YouTube, the Twitch, or the Kick, whatever your preferred video watching / streaming platform is, you can follow us on all those 3 things. And shout out to the YouTube gang for getting us to 405 subscribers. We are 95 away from 500, which is nuts. That in the 3 years that we've been doing this, there are 405 people who watch this.
And only 16 of them are on the channel.
Very true. We're watching all from multiple devices. It's us, you guys, but no, for real.
What we're telling you, because also, Benny, while I love you, you are perfect proof that if you watch this channel, probably sometime in the fall when the professor and everyone else disappears, you will be brought in as another co-host.
Perfect example.
Oh, I kid you not. I'm not saying we're going to get permanent hosts, but there are 2 other wrestling content creators out here that aren't necessarily going to be permanent, but friends to the channel, kind of like Nick. So we got a packed house. We're building relationships out here. It's wild. But we also understand that watching full-length videos is not your cup of tea, or you believe in this thing called time and you do not have a lot of it, which is okay, because You could also still interact with us in our little BC WrestlePod community via the social medias. We're at BC WrestlePod pretty much on every social media site except for Snapchat.
Well, if we ever see it only is up there for a little while and then it disappears. Why would we do that?
Very, very true as well. Got to get these streaks going. Too much to do that, honestly. I don't know how people
streaking?
do it. That's for the After Dark podcast. Anyways. But we also have some merchandise if you want to support us financially in that way, while also rocking some really cool designs. I am sad to report that our summer collection is officially going away to make room for the fall collection. So get your pumpkin spice lattes and spookiness going on. And potentially
Mikey,
there may or may not be a Thanksgiving shirt. Who knows?
Well, we don't want to stuff a bunch of wrestlers inside each other and just make it anyway.
Giggity. Anyways,
put some pictures up, Mikey. Show us what we can.
I know. I should create a lookbook. I'm gonna add that to like the 20 other things that I'm gonna be working on.
It's something the professor can model. He can do videos of him modeling each of the shirts.
I kid you not. I could probably get there are like 5 of you off the top of my head that I was just like, here is some merch for free. I know y'all got the capability to take pretty decent photos. Take pictures of that now.
Mikey, save the money. We'll take pictures in blank shirts and then you can just add it in and post.
Coming to shop near you, the BC WrestlePod Sexy Fireman calendar. Anyways. Yeah, Benny.
Professor.
Get into it.
Mikey. Mini.
Listen, it is fantastic. But now that we've gotten that all the way, if you want to get that merch, you can click the link in the chat and the description of this live and the edited video that will go up tomorrow in the evening to look at all our merch. But with that out of the way, let's just jump straight into it because we got a Dynamite and a Collision to get through. We are in our Philadelphia residency, peoples. So we are here in Philly for the next couple weeks.
Jesus Christ.
Be like, it feels like just yesterday we got done with the Chicago residency. Now we're in the Philadelphia residency.
And meanwhile, the other feds going over. It's just they're chasing each other around the country now.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of crazy, but yeah, so this should be a lot of fun. But let's kick things off. We're going to start with what we always do here with AEW Dynamite. Again, we are getting stuff slowly but surely for All Out Toronto. And we're going to talk about, we got one match this week officially made for All Out Toronto, which we are not surprised by it, but we'll get into that a little bit later because we opened up the show for Dynamite this past week by hearing from FTR and Stokely. So to fill people in, because we didn't kind of just spend it last week talking about Forbidden Door and didn't get a chance to talk about, the Dynamite and Collision post Forbidden Door. Again, it's been a blur wind of a week here. Not even going front. But yeah, FTR is not happy. And then my first response to that was, boys, when are we happy when you are healed? I was like, this is like the third time I've seen you heal in this company, and not to mention the other times in the other feds, but it's the same thing. I love y'all. But, just being turds. And you know what? I'm kind of here for it. So, of course, FTR talks about Christian and Copeland, all yada, 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 which leads us into, confrontation. And boom, we get a match made for All Out Toronto. Yay.
Well, and I did love, at the same time, having Cope half-heartedly stop Christian when he's starting to go right down that road he's going to, calling everyone sick and sickos and letting him do it.
He's like, no, stop, please don't.
Oh.
Yeah, Cope, naturally working in the word sicko. I was like, oh, that's fantastic. And this crowd was ravenous right from the get. Cash getting up in that FedEx guy's face and all that.
Well, and in general, you had local Philadelphia wrestler getting involved with what's going on and getting ran over by them. Yet somehow Cash and Dax can't seem to beat up the local guys that easily.
I was like, all right, well, again, no more time from everybody involved.
I'm still thrown off by he said CNC, which is completely true. It's Cope and Christian, the first time they've taken on FTR. But the problem is now I don't want them to come out to the Brood music. I don't want them to come out to Alter Bridge. I just want to hear good vibrations. Come on. Do it, Tony Khan. Book that crap.
Man, that would be perfect.
Listen, Tony, but if you can get down and bop, like, I'm pretty sure you can get everything else. But again, we'll see what happens with all of that. Again, this sets up FTR versus Cope and Christian at All Out Toronto as our first official match made for the pay-per-view. So should be a good time. Can't wait for that.
Should be a good time. Can't wait for that. Okie dokie. I'm dead inside.
I don't even care Darby if you too. Cry.
Oh, man.
So I can't because Darbs, I love you. So this is a promo, obviously, that was taped like sometime after Forbidden Door. I mean, Darby is still looking all jacked up. And he talks about how alive he feels, and he challenges Jon Moxley to a match at All Out, written out what I'm assuming it's his own blood from his ears. So, So I'm just like, Darbs. And again, we'll talk about it a little bit later when we get, Moxley running around being the devil on the shoulder and, whispering in people's ears about certain stuff. Exactly. It's because I was like, Darbs, you need the Avengers to take down the Death Riders, apparently, because you cannot do it alone, as crazy as you are. So Moxley has not responded to this at the point of the show, obviously, but we'll see how that goes. And a certain somebody decides he thought he could do the talking, and then he got his butt beat. But we'll talk about that moment in a little bit. Because right now, we get into our actual first match of Dynamite, which was Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. So, again, this continues to prove my little theory that it's going to be Danny, Hook, Darbs, and one other person that is going to be taking on the Death Riders in the next 2 pay-per-view cycles, maybe leading on the way into Full Gear, but we'll see what happens about this. I'm happy that Daniel Garcia is just actually doing something now, because since the technical spectacle from Collision, he didn't really add much of anything storyline-wise. He was just a body during Nigel's match against Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door. So, yeah, I'm happy to see that Daniel Garcia over here is actually doing something with it. The match itself, I thought it was pretty solid. I do love Daniel Garcia. Jon Moxley, actually, I don't remember the last time these two have ever collided, if at all. Again, AEW has been, yeah.
It was close to like a year ago when Daniel was starting to come up again into that TBS title picture. He was wrestling back and forth and having some at the beginning of the Death Riders, and he was there with Darby. I think it was him, Darby, Orange, and like one other person that were like, we got to take down the Death Riders. So, I mean, there's connections there. They just haven't got around to using them because Orange Cassidy's been hurt, and we've had a lot of people out. So,
very fair. But JVL, what did you think about the match itself?
You know what? Moxley is not a technical wrestler for he is, but he's a brawler. Like he's just power move. To see him sell for Garcia in the way he did, to get around certain things was wonderful. Garcia stooping to his level, and then oddly having the most homoerotic moment of the entire night when he bit him on the thigh. And there were 2 camera angles, and one they cut away from pretty quick because it didn't look like he was biting his thigh, and it just. It was a well-worked match. I think it needed like one more stake to get it to where it needed to be actually like worthwhile, but it wasn't bad. Like I enjoyed watching it, but I felt like this was a holding pattern. Don't exactly know where we're taking this yet. We're waiting to see if there's another person involved. We need to get there. So that's where I was.
Solid. Benny, what about you?
Yeah, I love that like since like All In, like Mox has been like having these like we're like going back to like 2019 when like he's like open up Dynamite and just putting on bangers. And I like I really like this match. Like Mox, obviously he's gonna win, right? Because like he's like a former world champion, and Danny's not at that level yet. But like he made him look like $1,000,000 in this match, and man, I can't wait to see where this goes. Because remember, back in 22 with the whole Bryan Danielson, Daniel Garcia feud with the whole "You're a wrestler," and I feel like they're sort of like bringing it right back to that. And I'm so here for every bit of it.
I 100% agree. So we're gonna have to find out exactly, where this leads. Which we don't have to wait too long for it. Which we'll talk about when we get to Collision. But let us move on. Poor Wheeler Yuta, always getting his butt whooped. So, so after the match itself, I don't know why Wheeler Yuta thought it was a good idea to get on the mic and start berating, the AEW fandom in the locker room. And we get the return of Hook, who lays him out, and then that is it. I was like, all right.
Mikey, that wasn't it. There has been such firestorm online right now about this change in Hook's theme music, because we all know he's got beef with Action Bronson, and so does apparently AEW, so they had to change his music, and it's now generic Sinatra sounding session number 4.
Gosh, I'm just like, all right. Look, Hook, I know we're going from like the kid from New York, but I'm gonna be so for real. And Tony Khan, if you choose to listen to this, it's up to you. There are lots of different types, and if you're going to go with it, then go the full extent. Give Hook not just a Frank Sinatra thing, give him like a typical New York-esque boom bat beat or something to come out to. Like, this is it's missed money on the table for me, but yeah, apparently when I saw that Hook has a alleged beef with Action, I was just like, okay. I mean, did not know that was on my bingo card this week, but okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'm not the biggest fan of this theme for Hook. Again, I feel like that doesn't make or break an overall character for me personally, but I was just like, listen, if you're gonna go the full New York character, you might as well. There are other aspects outside of Frank Sinatra that is New York, but I don't know if it's because Hook is, partially melanated challenge that they don't want to give him a full hip hop track to come out to. But I'm like, listen, New York is diverse enough that you could find something, but I digress. But Wheeler Yuta, always the punching bag for the Death Riders.
He does his role well, though.
He does.
Yuta's been really great on the mic. He generates a lot of heat, and but I like that, Hook. As you guys were saying, the theme song doesn't really work, but I get the vibe that they're going for with he's just being Taz in '96, right? Like he's coming out, he's beating up everybody, and then he leaves. Who's gonna be his Sabu? That's the problem.
He's in the one place where that works because he's in Philly. So
exactly.
Oh, yeah. The thing about this is that he's coming into this stuff. He's not to find it. He's getting given every one of these opportunities, and Wheeler's selling for him. I'm just wondering where this is going to go. And also, if you look at the pictures we've got here, Wheeler even holds the mic like a jerk.
Exactly.
It's just so good. Who holds it that far down?
I was like, listen here, you hot topic reject. Just kidding. But yeah, this was the return. You know what? That totally fits. If all you gotta keep it strong, move along. Like I know you do. Anyways. Middle school, man. Middle school Mikey was crazy. Anywho, let us move on from this because we gotta talk about this match, so this was Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus my new favorite duo of Harley Cameron and Chris Statlander. I just love that Harley's back. She is, in D&D terms for all of you folks, she is the chaotic good we need in this and in this promotion, honestly. I'm just like, she's so good. I like this match. I wasn't expecting anything too crazy, but damn, I want a singles match between Megan and Chris so bad, you guys. I was like, Tony Khan, give it to me right now. God, those
he hasn't
two.
gotten there yet, but soon, very soon.
Seriously, Megan and Chris would be amazing. But yeah, I had a good time with this match. I wasn't, it's not going to be an instant classic. It's not going to go on my list of like top 5-star matches of the year, but I had a fun time. And sometimes that is all I want, especially after 3 weeks of nonstop pay-per-views and other shows. I'm like, I just want to be entertained and not think too hard. And I like this match enough for that.
Yeah, give us the silly,
Well, and try not to die like in their entrance where Statlander nearly drops Harley Cameron, which is going up.
Yeah, they gotta work that out. That's for
Oh
sure.
my god!
I was like, we just got her back. No.
Well, and then great working all the way through with it. They I mean, Penelope Ford, the MVP of this match, taken all of that punishment, but. Everyone was set up for success. It worked really well. You want Stat and Bane to go after each other really badly, and then we have Willow Nightingale saving the day ? And making things worse.
I guess.
Yeah, like in my notes, I was like, "Why Willow?" Because like I was like,
"Isn't Statlander a baby face right now?"
Yeah, are they getting along? Because like, what is going on? Like, does he watch the product? Sometimes, but with this match, like I was like, man, Harley has been training. Like,
oh yeah,
there was a couple times where I was like, man, like she's come leaps and bounds since the last time I saw her. Still scrunching up on a few things, but or wincing. But
it's called selling, Benny. Selling.
Not when she pulls up into a ball when Megan's about to throw her on the ground. It's fun to be a pancake bump, but what? But I digress. I don't know. I'm not a wrestler.
Oh, don't sell yourself short.
It's crazy. But Harley and Chris do end up winning here, as you guys have said. Willow comes out to ? Even the odds ? Again. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, sure. We'll see what happens because I'm still holding out hope. I was like, blood and guts. But I digress. So we got to move on from this match because we're going to talk about Mercedes 9 belts' championship celebration. Of course, as I stated, I believe I said this last week, or I told my friend, either or. But Mercedes, after losing to Timeless Tony Storm at Y'all in Texas, managed to pick up 2 more belts along the way. So now she picked up a championship from Poland and Italy. So
I got to ask this, Mikey. Does that devalue all the other belts she now has, and even the new one she's picking up, because she can't win the big one in her own promotion? So she's slumming it in these other promotions to get their belts?
Well, here's the thing. Normally, I would say possibly. However, if Tony Khan and creative and writing if they use that as the angle here where, all that glitters is not gold type of situation where Mercedes has all these championships, we know she wants to break Ultimo's record, right? But it's still not the biggest prize. It's still not the AEW Women's World Championship. She couldn't get the job done. And so if they wanted to, they could tell the story, be like, hey, Mercedes, you got all these belts, right? You still couldn't get the job done and get the big one, which then causes her, again, not in storyline wise, not actual person wise, but then you start to see What I would love to see now from Mercedes is we start to see the armor crack a little bit and the pieces start falling off. And then she starts losing these championships little by little until she's left with just the TBS. And then she loses it. And then what she got for? Icarus flew too close to the sun trying to collect all these belts. And and in the end, she lost it all. But
I have such a Booker hat in my head that would be perfect for this. That will never happen, but would be like Tony Khan if you could book this totally. Mercedes, as she's having her, rematches or whatever she's having for each of these belts around the world, an assailant in a black hoodie starts to interfere in her matches and cost her belts. So that by the time that she gets down to just the TBS back in AEW, she's calling this person out who's been chasing her all over the world like she's Carmen Sandiego, and up pops Pamela Rose, i.e. Bailey from WWE, to make her AEW debut.
So amazing. I love Bailey. That would be amazing. But yeah, I mean, this championship celebration basically is Mercedes telling us is that, she's going to break the record and you know what, she's not going to stop. I'm like, good on you, girl. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm just like a little bit blinded by fandom because I love Mercedes. She's like one of my favorite women's wrestlers, and one of the things that I think about with all the belts is that that they're bringing attention to all these promotions, right? Because they're on global TV, and some people just go, "Huh, what's Rev Pro?" And if they didn't know, and oh, what is that belt? That's a pretty cool belt. But I love that Pamela idea. That's fantastic.
I mean, you're the only one, Benny, out there, because apparently there's been so much backlash online calling it a move that would be, going to the minor leagues for her and being just completely, tribalistic and horrible, even though she's not being used in the place she's signed up to, and she could have more fun where she's going to go. What's the point of not having fun with the career you've got, especially when you're ruining your body to do it?
Yeah, she's got 1.5 foot out the door right now, anyways. Because she seemed like she was in London, the night of when Mercedes was in Rev Pro. There's a photo on Instagram.
Exactly. It's no secret that Bailey and Mercedes are like this, and they're always at each other's shows, especially for these bigger moments. And I'm just like, y'all, I don't care what the internet wrestling community says. The Fed is not doing Bailey any favors right now. They're not. I mean, she's doing this crazy character, and I don't have the confidence in the Fed to pull it off successfully. I'm getting PTSD, and I was like, oh my gosh, they better not give Bailey the Tony Storm treatment. I was just like, oof. That moment right there was enough for Tony to be like, you know what? I think I'm good. I'm gonna go do some other stuff right now. And I was just like, good on you, Tony, because oof, I was so mad. But I digress. So
the IWC sometimes, I don't want to go up on a tangent, but I love heel heat, to be honest with you. Because seeing a bunch of people screaming at their phones or computers about how why is this person acting mean? What are you talking about? How good would those Avengers be without Thanos?
For reals. So internet is weird sometimes, but Mercedes, I'm really excited to see where we go with you next. Now that Forbidden Door is over, and I mean, we're gonna find out because tomorrow we have a match between Mercedes and Alex Windsor. I'm gonna keep saying it every single time like that for the TBS Championship, so that should be a lot of fun. Which we'll talk about her when we get to Collision. But right now, Mark Briscoe had his 18th child. Listen, Mark Briscoe and Mrs. Mark Briscoe are on that Catholic baby schedule. This is full Listen, that is just a traditional. I know they ain't Irish, but this is a traditional like Irish Catholic family where they be popping up children every like 6 to 12 months. Like,
Seriously, this is gonna be like just a flock of Briscoes running around in like 10 years.
oh my god, so many Briscoes,
It's
and if
it's the new bloodline. It's Dem
It really
bloodline.
is.
it's Dem, bro. Yes, Dem bloodline. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. I would love that as a faction if a lot of these kids decide to go into the business. But I digress. So here, not only do we meet little new baby Briscoe, but Mark Briscoe also let it be known that he has some unfinished business and he wants a chance to challenge Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship.
How's he going
More
to do that when he's fighting MJF on the other storyline he's in?
Oh my god, MJF is in too many storylines, you guys. This is getting out of hand. And two, he has too many storylines in like 2 different promotions right now. So I'm just like, we'll talk about that. Well, I mean, we'll cover that in depth tomorrow, but I'll briefly touch upon it when, did I include MJF in there? I probably did. If not, we'll talk about it at the end of the show. But more to come with Briscoe and Don Fallis and, Kyle Fletcher later in the show. Because right now, another all-star 8-man tag, and I was not upset about this. Mike Bailey, you are a global superstar this past week. You were everywhere, and I'm in awe of you. You were here. You were in Mexico on Friday competing in the Grand Prix. Like, ooh, so crazy. But we, of course, have the face team, which is our AEW Tag Team Champions, and our ROH World Champion, Bro Dito, the newest flavored chip coming to the store shelf near you. Hopefully, has guacamole and chili cheese on it, because why not? And then, of course, they are teaming up with Jet Speed, which is Speedball Mike Bailey, and the Jet Kevin Knight, taking on the Don Callis family, being represented this time by Don Callis in a mask.
Yep.
Echiseto, Kazuchika Okada, who is holding, the International and the Continental Classic Championships as well as the Unified. The G1 Climax winner, Konosuke Takeshita, and the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling Men's Champion, Josh Alexander. I'm not going to lie, I'm really happy to see... Well, I mean, the last couple of weeks, I've been really happy to see Josh back on my television screen wrestling, because I was like... But also, can we get Josh singles matches? Because him versus Brody King needs another round. Him versus Ishii needs another thing. Like, I also want to see Josh in some singles action, but I digress. This was fun. Again, this is an 8-man tag. We kind of know the formula at this point. It starts out going back and forth. Then we hit the finishers and everybody gets their moments before ultimately one team wins. And in this case, it was the Don Callis family picking up victory over Brodito and Jet Speed. JVL, what did you think of this 8-man all-star tag?
First off, I'm always happy to see when Canadian Bald gets to be in there. It's the different version of Bald from Ricochet Bald, but he's Canadian and therefore stronger. He's a lot of fun to watch in there. Dom Fallis in a mask, he's always been a heck of a wrestler. I never knew that Dom Fallis had those moves to be that strong as well. But the moment that stands out for me is the stereo dive / moonsaults where Brody King literally launches Bandito to be the top one over everybody else. I could watch that moment over and over again. That kind of defined how this match was going to work.
That spot was so fun.
Oh, sorry. I was like, I love the big story coming out of this match was clearly big Kazu energy going up against Takeshita, where they had a little bit of a face off, and I agree. I'd really like to see Josh Alexander branch out a little bit more, because that match that he had on Collision with Kyle and Ishii, and the other Kyle, was fantastic. But this match was it was otherworldly because like the chest speed, they keep doing this uh, like optical illusion, like inside outside like dive thing, where like they have to use the crane cam just to catch it, and like it's fantastic, man. Like what a this tag division really has grown in the past few weeks.
100%. And I think Brodito being champions is a fresh thing for the division too, because then it offers, fresh matchups, with Brodito being face. And then again, you can have your typical face and heel team, or you can do face versus face. Like Brodito versus Jet Speed in a tag team match will probably be on my list of favorite matches of the week and probably the year, because all four are fantastic. Also, Bandito is officially my wrestler this 2025 after Death Before Dishonor. But listen, not to plug another promotion, but I'm going to, because I think it's going to be amazing. Not this Friday, but next Friday, the 13th, which is crazy. Knock on wood, nothing crazy happens. Brodito will be in CMLL in Arena Mexico tagging together. So I'm like, oh my God, yes. So good. But again, Don Callis family picks up the victory here. I also love seeing Takeshita and Okada kind of get in each other's faces. I was like, oh, this is going to be banger. Like when Takeshita and Okada finally collide, and I'm like, I'm still hoping that Takeshita just runs through all the Don Callis family members to get to Okada when that turn comes. So I was like, do it, because it would be amazing.
Do it.
Takeshita versus I have no arguments against Takeshita versus any member of the Don Callis family. It was just like, this match is going to be crazy. And I'm here for it. So let's move on though, because we got to talk about, we hear from our AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page, and this literally bleeds into the end of the previous match, because then Hangman gets on the mic. Don Callis wants, the group to get a shot at this.
He got changed pretty quick.
I was just like, ooh, okay, crazy. But yeah, so Hangman's is like, no. Don Callis is like, give me a title shot. Hangman's like, sure, but you're going to have to, Don Callis wants this championship for the group, and Hangman's like, you have to pry this from my cold, dead hands. I was just like, cool, which then creates a brawl. Jet Speed come out to save the day. Like, I was like, okay. So again, Don Callis family has like 50,000 storylines of pretty much the whole locker room at this point. I was like, who aren't they fighting is the question.
Well, to be fair, they are sort of like the other side of the locker room right now.
The other heel faction.
For reals. I was just like, what is happening right now? But you know what? If this means we get potentials of, fun stuff and things like that, I think it's going to be great, and I cannot wait for it. But let us get into what we're going to talk about next. So I feel like I'm messing up my notes somewhere. Oh no, I wasn't. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong thing. I was like, where are my notes? But that is okay. Oh,
Claudio.
Oh, Claudio.
Oh, Claudio, the amount of GIFs we can make with this, or the amount of images we can make with this.
This was wild. So in our main event, this was a false count anywhere match in which we saw Darby Allin versus Claudio Castagnoli. The stills of Claudio just decimating Darby has provided me with such joy in terms of the memes. Like, my gosh, Claudio. I was like, never stop being you, because you provide good content. But I really enjoyed this. Again, this is another one. I was like, oh, these two are going to kill each other. And I'm kind of here for it. Now, I don't want no one to die physically, but metaphorically, Darb's about to get his body thrown through everything. And Darbs did get his body thrown through everything possible. Oh, Darbs, I love you. I really, really do. But yeah, I mean, by the end of this, Darby is the one to stand tall, beating Claudio in this match. JBL, what did we think about the Falls Count Anywhere? And then we'll briefly talk about the
and then
end
the fallout. Yeah.
and the fallout. Well, I can put it up on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, fallout's fine. It's like, how do we get Darby to get his licks in without actually feeding him Moxley, because Moxley's a little busy right now, and Claudio can be kind of what he needs to be. They're just trying to like set up that the Death Riders are still a thing, and it again wasn't terrible. Darby's gonna flame out pretty quick in his career because he's literally breaking himself in half. But hey, if he's the most alive he's felt, and he's having fun, and he's not hurting anyone else but himself, not the worst thing.
Very fair. Benny, what did you think?
First off, like, I can't remember a bad Claudio match, like, since he's come to AEW. Like, with Claudio, like just when you think that guy's gigantic, when you see him in person, he's 3 times as big as you imagine. Like, and him ragdolling Darby around the arena was just so much fun. And Darby has probably the best comeback in wrestling today, because like he just like, I heard some people complaining about like how like he just came back and like won. And it was like, what did you want? Like,
yeah, no.
I mean,
the man climbed a mountain.
He literally climbed Mount Everest, you guys. It wasn't like he was sitting at home doing nothing. He literally climbed a whole mountain. He holds the world record for like highest elevated kickflip, like, which is crazy.
Exactly.
And to be fair, I feel like Darby getting a win this quick upon his return is kind of warranted, especially since the Death Riders put his head through a chair and Darby down the set of stairs back in December. I was like, y'all need to calm down.
Hey, Mikey, did we forget the Ops versus Joe and GOA?
Yeah, I did. Upon realizing you guys, this is why we don't do slides like at 11 o'clock at night. I'm just like, I'm gonna be so for real.
How could you forget the bald man and the meat sticks and the Joe?
I know. And when I was looking at my notes, I was like, wait a minute, I did mess up. I'm like, oops. So I do want to mention that match again, because it was, well, initially I was like, okay, we're getting this match, and then they're like, this is for the Trios Championship. I'm like, come again? I was like, you did not tell me this prior hand. I was like, what do you mean? But you know what? Really quick thoughts on the Ops and GOA. Ricochet and Goa. I thought it was a fine match. How do I put this nicely? Because Joe would actually choke me out in real life, or not, because he's a nerd and I love him too. But I'm also very afraid. I don't want to get on his bad side. But I think it would be fair to say it was a standard Ops match, and I feel like we're kind of running into a problem where I need them to actually have a substantial feud with a trio and give some dimension to our lovely boys of Joe, Shibata, and Hobbs. Hobbs was a part of a great meme though this week, so I was like, "Good on you, Hobbs."
He was.
But
also the Hurt Syndicate again interfering and not putting people over.
Damn, they're never gonna live down those allegations right now.
It's not allegations anymore.
Allegedly. Anyways, but yeah, I felt like the match was typical, which I'm okay with, but I kind of want something more for the Ops.
I completely agree. There was one time where like Toa Leona pounced Joe, and Joe just lands on his side, and the ref walks over and just you good? And then I was like, oh my god, Joe hasn't forcibly left his feet in 3 years.
not forcibly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, Alex, Queen of the Ring, shout out to Alex. She's the best.
We love you, Alex.
She's the best.
But like she put on a blog and she was just like, yeah, I was actually making googly eyes at Shibata, and then like Hobbs walked in
Hey,
the
you
way,
know
and
what?
I was
Girl,
like,
same.
yeah,
Like
checks out.
Ciabatta bread, we love him. I was just like, listen, there was in that match, there was enough for everybody. For me, I was like,
Absolutely. Even I at the end was like, oh my god, like I'm getting the vapors.
be like,
Ooh.
be like, ooh. Listen, I love watching everything because then I got somebody in every promotion was like, hey. But again, I thought the match was fine. I just want something more for the ops because again, even if it means something, I actually really like them versus Bullet Club War Dogs because I was like, at least it's somebody different. It just sucks that it was Bullet Club War Dogs because it's New Japan and they ain't gonna be around like all the time. But who knows? Maybe Gabe Kidd can fix something because I'm like, Gabe is gonna be sticking around for a little bit apparently, which is crazy. But we're gonna get into him a little bit later. But
Lady.
yes, lady.
My lady.
Oh Lord. Anyways, so that is how Dynamite goes off the air with, John Moxley and Darbs. I was like, the war continues. So this should be fun. Let's get into Collision because there was a lot jam-packed into 2 hours. Again, Collision is just like Dynamite is where we have like your typical AEW show. Collision's like, let's just throw a bunch of matches and see how many we can fit in the span of 2 hours of television. So so this was a lot. So we get an intro segment, we get a match, we get a promo at the very end of all this, but technically, and again, AEW, I love you, but you did not give me all the graphics I wanted for Collision. I was like, there are so many matches, and you could not give me, you gave me like 3. I was like, so we're going to make do with what we can find. So shout out to the internet for giving me pictures. Anyways, so Daniel Garcia has a match with Blake Christian, who is one half of and get this, JVL, of the hottest new tag team, him and Mr., Moriarty, or Johnson, I should say. Not Moriarty and him would be more interesting, but Blake Christian and Lee Johnson, known as the Swirl. I was like, so we're ice cream now? Okay, I guess.
I was
Mr.
like, Julia Hart, Jesus Christ.
I was like, what are we doing? But so Daniel Garcia versus Blake Christian. I love Blake, but I really need them to start doing something more with him, like in Ring of Honor and in AEW television. But I digress. But before Daniel starts the match, John Moxley whispers sweet nothings into his ear.
I'm surprised that he didn't start bleeding from his mouth when he was talking.
Listen, if that happened, I was like, oh my God, he's a witch. I'm just kidding.
Papa Shango.
Oh no, we don't need that coming back anytime soon. But yeah, apparently that was enough to motivate Garcia to kind of be a little more vicious in this match. He beats Blake Christian. But Daniel Garcia's like, listen, we've been doing this forever. So he calls out, he wants a match with Moxley next week, which he's getting in some capacity. So Danny and Mox are about to have another match. So I hope that this is the stepping stone to get back into propelling the storyline of the AEW Avengers taking on the Death Riders. So this was a lot for like what we got for the beginning of the show. I was like, y'all crammed this in. This was crazy. So yeah.
So one thing I've noticed is that like throughout the years, like with Danny Garcia, is that like they've tried to maybe forcibly change him into Red Death, right? Like with the Jack Perry stuff a couple years ago, they had written him off TV, and then Darty Magic's like, when he comes back, you're not getting Dick Dancing Danny Garcia. You're gonna get Red Death, right? And he just came back and he was just a dude, and so I think like this is trying to like bring that tactical wrestling side out of Danny Garcia, so that way like we get to see Red Death on national TV.
I hope so, man. I miss technical wrestling, Danny. That was what made me like him when he was our pure champion in Ring of Honor.
Plus, you would have Yuta and Danny Garcia potentially side by side. So Yeah, that's a hell of a pairing.
Yeah, listen,
Both little emo dudes. Yeah, I know.
we love them, but the pure championship matches those guys had, back and forth for that title when ROH rebranded itself like 2 years ago were amazing. And I would love Yuta and Danny to run it back in some capacity like that because they're so damn good. And also, I love it's funny watching Wheeler get beat up every week, but I kind of want Wheeler to be submitting folks left and right again. I was like, I know Yuta's got, tricks in the bag where he can, make you tap and submit you in all different kinds of ways. I want to see that more. But again,
are they trying to have Danny surpass and supplant Yuta and like just take his spot?
Maybe, but I feel like ultimately Daniel's going to be like, nah, fam, this ain't for me. And so again, we have to, I say this all the time, we have to wait and see to see how the storyline is going to progress. But we move on though, because Kyle and Roddy still can't get on the same page, and Roddy is still not a fan of Kyle trying, take like Kyle O'Reilly is out here like a child of divorce, spending time between Conglomeration and Paragon. And so I love you, Lexi, but Lexi's just like, girl, Lexi tells Roddy and Kyle, girl, you need to get together. Like, figure out what you gonna do. And
Y'all
hologram
messy. You so messy.
Exactly. It's like craziness. Listen, as dumb as this whole thing is, I'm here for it. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, Kyle O'Reilly, we love you and your weirdness and your awkwardness. Like, cool Kyle is back, you guys. So, we're going to talk about a couple of these folks later down in the show, though, because this group of four probably had the craziest things happen to them this week, speaking, in storytelling wise. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Like right now.
there it is.
So we're gonna start with this tag team match of our TNT champion Kyle Fletcher and Josh Alexander. I need that singles match down the line at some point because that would bang.
Canadian Bald.
We love Josh Alexander. Hi, Mrs. Alexander, aka Miss Jade. We love you too, and your son is adorable. And Kyle Fletcher. Hey. No, Kyle Fletcher is so amazing. He was such a good time to talk to him in person, but I digress. So we get the Don Callis family, which is, Kyle and Josh taking on Tomohiro Ishii and Kyle O'Reilly. I love Ishii so much. I was just like, just give him all the matches. Like, just give him all the matches. So much fun now that he's here. But yeah, this was a fun match. Unfortunately for Ishii and Kyle, did not work out in their favor. Unfortunately.
Shocker.
But you know what? This was still a baller match. I really liked this one. I had a good time.
I had no problem with it. I thought it was well worked. We got exactly what we paid for. Little shenanigans, which is surprising, and again, Canadian Bald doing his stuff.
Yeah, I love the summer of Ishii. Like it seems that like every summer, Ishii comes over and has some banger matches in AEW.
He's on his Rumspringer.
Exactly. Wow, that's wow. And especially the past few weeks, like he's really been stepping it up. Like that match that he had with Takeshita, like a couple weeks ago. Wow. And I like there's one point where Kyle Fletcher gets busted open, right? And right under his eye. And I was like, where did it happen? I was like rolling it back and I think Ishii hit him with a couple stiff ass forearms, and then within the Kyle gets tagged in, and then the first move he hits on Kyle Fletcher is like a running boot, and you see Fletcher go. There's shelling and there's oh my god that hurts. when they when they break character
For real.
like that.
Shout out to Fletcher, because not only did he have to deal with Hiromu Takahashi at Forbidden Door, now he has to battle Ishii too. It's like, let's just give him the trifecta. Like, it would never happen, but give Kyle, Fletcher, Okada, Takeshita if we want to bring over Sonata, or just for shits and giggles, Evil. I'm just kidding. No, actually, I'm gonna be honest. Like, if Kyle Fletcher wants to fight like New Japan guys, I want him versus Bolton Oleg. Obviously, Kyle versus Takeshita would be great. Don't ask me why, but I think they would murderize each other. But Fletcher versus Drilla would be nuts too to watch.
Fletcher versus Zack Sabre Jr. Two cocky jerks tearing the crap out of each other.
I'm gonna be for real. Zach versus anybody on the planet would be amazing for me. Don't even lie. But yeah, Kyle and Josh Alexander pick up the win over the other Kyle and Ishii. So good try, boys. We love you, but no cigar with this one. The girls are fighting. Literally,
this needs to be a match soon. I don't want that safe stuff.
Jamie Hayter and Tekla are just fighting. They get pulled apart and thrown out. Like, yeah, Jamie versus Tekla needs to happen sometime soon.
Tekla was taking some real punishment there. She was sliding on the concrete. You could see because her boots were too slippery. She was not taking those hits well. Like, I feel like there may have been some talk afterwards. Like, okay, there was a little over the top there.
Very fair. But if anyone's going to take those stiff strikes well, it would be Tekla, Miss Stardom girl herself. Like, I was like, girl, we seen you do it, so we're okay. But yeah, I want everyone to be safe. But again, give me Jamie and Tekla at some point in the next couple weeks, because that match would be amazing. Again, this is telling us everything we need to know. Kip and Mama Wayne are going to bully the crap out of Luchasaurus because they are still not on the same page. I was like, I don't like them being mean to my green dinosaur.
We're really restarting this again?
Apparently. I was like, didn't we do this before?
Just a rehash.
Well, apparently they were like, we had to hold off because we were building up so much of this, like going after him and making him feel lesser than. Now we've just got to finish that storyline out because that's what we're paying him for. We don't have Christian to do it though, so we've got to do it with Kip Sabian.
I think we're in the holding pattern until whenever Nick comes back, because I still think that I'm still holding out that it's Nick and Kip versus Kill Switch and Scapegoat Jack Perry at some point. So hopefully Nick isn't out for too long, because it seems like he might be back in like 6 to 8 weeks, maybe like 2-3 months. So hopefully, but we'll see what happens with all of that. Oh, Jay Lethal. You are now
the stars.
Hey, you know what? Jay Lethal sells very well, and he looked great against Hologram. I thought this was a fun enough match. The match itself was fine, but that's not what I want to talk about.
No, Klon.
This is where the real tea is at, kids. So Hologram beats Jay Lethal. So over the last week or two, we've been getting like Holograms things. Somebody's trying to hack in. Programs aren't working the way it's supposed to, but whoever it is, the clone program finally gets the access and gets initiated. We see Hologram kind of somewhat being affected by it, and we get evil Hologram on the screen. So a little bit more, not to kind of disillusion the craziness, but I saw some people be like, oh, this is stupid. I was just like, listen, it's because you don't know Lucha Libre or you're white. I'm going to go with the second one. I'm just kidding. No, okay,
right.
But
you're pretty much right.
But they kind of go hand in hand, and here's the reason why. People are like, oh, this is stupid. I was like, no, they do this in Lucha Libre all the time. And in fact, some of the greatest rivalries in Lucha Libre history stem from you having an evil twin or evil clone of yourself. This is telenovela rules, but for wrestling. Like,
it's a soap opera, and it works.
But what makes me even more excited about this is, according to reports, that evil Hologram, the clone, is actually somebody who is a former tag team partner and, rival of, Hologram, who is a former, luchador from Mexico in itself. And it's me and Andrew are super excited. So apparently evil Hologram is going to be the wrestler of Ares, who, if you do not know, is a big luchador in the independent wrestling scene down in Mexico. He's part of the IWGC, which is like, again, the indie version of CMLL, but they also have amazing wrestlers. There's great. They have a battle roulette almost all the time. There is a dog wrestling mascot where somebody dresses up in a full dog costume and wrestles in it, which is great. But also, Ares is a really fantastic wrestler. He's been in this business forever. And on occasion, on the independent scene, he is part of Los Desperados, which is him, Jack Cartwheel, and Gringo Loco, which is also fantastic as well.
Oh, please.
But yeah,
let Gringo Loco come out as a hologram clone Dos.
That would be amazing. But on the real, though, as fun as we're making this and like we're having a good time with this, Ares versus Hologram is like a luchador wet dream. Not even kidding. You guys are going to be amazed, especially if you're not familiar with Ares's work. He's so damn good.
And then we'll get Ludwig Kaiser version Hologram.
We don't talk about Ludwig. Oh, it's just like, whatever, man. But yeah, evil hologram, evil twin. I'm here for it. Y'all need to chill and let this simmer because it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Alex Windsor makes quick work of Ashley Vox. Alex Windsor makes quick, work of Ashley Vox. And she wants to challenge Mercedes for the TBS championship. And lo and behold, we're getting that match tomorrow on Dynamite. I love you, Alex Windsor. You are great.
Alex has really translated perfectly, and
so quickly.
She really
Ashley
has filled
Vox.
that Deonna Purrazzo role.
Yeah. Oh, I see where you're going there.
Which is, you know what? You're not wrong. However, for like me and like one other person who watches ROH, give me that Aminata Deonna Purrazzo match for this pure women's championship. Like that match would slap, and that probably is where we're going. But I digress. Back to this.
Ashley Vox is a 10-year veteran who has previously worked in ROH, and she's a solid hand. I wish she would get picked up somewhere, And I love the old school interview by Alex after the match. And you can tell that she's super comfortable in this role, and she didn't there was a clap break, and she didn't even step on the clap break, and I was like, man, this girl's ready.
I'm loving that she's getting extra time now to really let herself flourish. And even though her partner's going through major surgery and getting all that set up, she's taking this time to distance herself from just being considered, Mrs. Will Ospreay, and actually showing what she can do.
Right. And I'm super excited because, yes, we all know that she is engaged and she is the fiance version of Mrs. Will Ospreay. But I'm excited for her to show everyone, be like, there's a reason that she's one of the longest reigning Rev Pro UK women's champions in that company's history, too. And while she is a trailblazer for women's British wrestling as well. So I'm really excited. So, again, and you are absolutely right, both of you are, is that how quickly not only has she Alex Windsor has translated to AEW television very well, but the crowd is so behind her too. Like, I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy that she's getting more exposure like this. So it's really fun. So we got to move on though, because we got a bunch of other stuff. Mark Briscoe wants this match really bad, so Don Callis offers it to him. But Mark Briscoe has to beat any member of the Don Callis family. So Mark Briscoe is going to get his butt beat, but it's either going to go one of two ways. He gets his butt beat and loses, get his butt beat but wins, but also get his butt beat afterwards too. Mark Briscoe is the pincushion to take pain.
He missed a trick here though. Dom Fallis said any member of the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't he challenge Dom Fallis?
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, just seeing Don backpedal whoa, I'm not a wrestler.
No, be like, that's not what you said. Roll the tape.
And he says, yo soy hechicero.
Oh my gosh. So we're going to see this match sometime this week, probably. So it should be interesting. JD, I love you. And listen, I am very familiar with Adam Priest on the independents too. Adam is great. So we get this match, FTR versus Adam Priest and JD Drake. Listen, this crowd was here for JD, as they should be, because JD Drake is amazing. I never get tired of watching his moonsault. Like, for real, you guys. I was like, you shouldn't be able to do that, but you can't because you're JD mother tucking Drake. Anyways, I really liked this tag team match. I really did. I knew FTR was going to win, but damn, JD Drake just destroying, Dax and Cash was kind of great to watch. I'm not even going to lie. I was like, oh, I've missed you. I was like, I'm so happy. I've missed you, JD. Adam Priest, you're great. This was a fun tag team match. I have no notes on this. I had a good time watching it.
This was a perfect example of like FTR is just is having so much fun with this Philly crowd. Like they were ready to riot by the end of this this match,
Holy crap!
Adam Priest, man, like he really he was good in on Death Before Dishonor, like things like the pre-show, whatever. And I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say Tony Khan's been using him a lot in Ring of Honor as of late. I mean, not just Death Before Dishonor, but he was also in that 400K Fatal 4-Way with him and AR Fox and all that stuff too at Supercard.
Yeah, that's right. And I really like the guy, and it's sort of funny. During the match, I tweeted out during or skeeted out during Death Before Dishonor. That he reminds me a lot of James Gibson or Jamie Noble. Just the way, just the intensity, the build, everything. And Nigel's like, it reminds me of James Gibson. And I was like, what?
You're just beaming it to Nigel. It's always good.
For real.
I do have a note, Mikey.
Go for it.
Where is Anthony Henry?
Well, here's the thing. For some reason, and the Workhorsemen are just having a really bad go, because if it's not one, it's both of them. I mean, to be fair, we finally got the return of Beef in Ring of Honor, so I'm so happy he's back. Listen, I love Beef so much, but I agree. I was just like, I couldn't find anything about what happened to Anthony Henry, but you know what?
Adam Priest, you have too much charisma to be JD Drake's partner. I'm sorry.
Listen, go for it.
Sorry to step on your toes, but I guess what's his name? Anthony Henry had requested some vacation time. So so that's why he wasn't there. It was pre-approved for this time. So
okay. Well, enjoy your vacation, my friend, and hopefully we'll see you very soon back on our TV screens. But yeah, this was fun. Sammy Guevara is the newest member of LFI, for those of you that didn't watch Death Before Dishonor.
Shocker.
I'm going to be for real. Heel Sammy works better for me than Babyface Sammy. Babyface Sammy was kind of struggling to float. But now Sammy with LFI is also great. And I want to say this because a friend pointed out this to me and is, shout out to homie to the channel, Agent Lo-Fi, who is our unofficial fourth co-host every Wednesday on CMLL with us, in the chat. When you can get Roosh kind of contained in whatever way that means, you are going to create magic. And if AEW can contain Roosh with Sammy in this 4-person version of LFI, I'm here for it. I actually am. So
yeah, Roosh seems to be pretty happy right now. And I love this, because Sammy's got the probably the most punchable face in wrestling, right? And then he's standing behind LFI, who are just like, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. You know,
Yes. uh we love you so much, dude. So I'm excited. I really hope they do good with these four. And I mean, in storyline AEW universe, they also got monies because Dralistico won that money battle at Death Before Dishonors. So I was like, let's go, you guys. Go shopping, get yourself something nice. And we'll see where all this goes.
maybe get Preston Vance out of that.
Oh, get that man out of the frat house right now. Oh gosh, I still hate that faction.
Put him back in a mask.
For reals. But I digress. No, this is update Juice Robinson's thing. What did we tell you, AEW? This is not right. I don't like beardless Juice Robinson. It makes me uncomfortable. I need an adult. So we get Juice Robinson versus Big Bill. I'm gonna be honest. This is probably not my favorite match of the entire night, only because I don't like what we're doing with the Bang Bang Gang and then Big Bill and Bounty Hunter, Brian Keith. I was just like, I know we can do more with them, but why are we doing this?
This was an off week in GM mode. A lot of people were injured. They had to do a normal match because they didn't have enough of a budget. It's been bad.
I mean, I like both of these guys enough, and I had fun enough. I was just like, I want more for everyone involved. Big Bill does get the win over Juice, though. So
I thought we blew this off like 2 weeks ago.
Right? I thought it was. I was like, wait a minute, didn't we talk about this already? I was like, oh no, this is actually happening. Never mind.
And you were wrong, Benny. You were very wrong.
I guess it was. Not always right.
How dare you assume that a stale program that hasn't gone anywhere would ever be done in AEW?
The funny thing is, like, I love Big Bill, right? But
right.
What are they doing? What are they doing? Like
filling time, apparently.
Yeah, I guess he's just. This is just a way to let him run out the contract so you can go back to the other place.
And do what there?
For real.
I don't know, but
I don't know, man. This is getting that crazy, but yeah, Big Bill, I love you. I love everybody involved, but yeah, I want more for the Bang Bang Gang and Big Bill and Ryan Keith. I was just like,
what?
This was okay. I was like, all right, then we got a promo with Skyflight. Sure. They're like, we got to be taken more seriously. I was like, what are we talking about?
This entire promo screamed collision to me. Basically, it's like,
no, honestly,
what do we got to put on this damn weird show?
How do you have like 5 people in this group and nobody can talk?
You've got Christopher Daniels there and you can't talk.
Right? That's what I mean. Like, but like he's just sort of bland and telling the people not to swear. What is going on?
Listen, I'm not saying
no one knows, Benny. No one knows.
Listen, I know it's not going to happen, but Mr. Christopher Daniels, come here, sir. We got to talk. I'm not saying it's the best thing, but I need you to go talk to your friend Frankie Kazarian and like pick up some tips because Frankie is an absolute mess right now in TNA. But it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to watch him crash and burn a little bit. But I was like, you got 5 people. And I'm going to be so for real. Scorpio, I love you, but your biggest problem is you've never been the greatest talker. Even when you and Ethan Page were Men of the Year, it was still not great. Dante, Darius, love you down, but you also are not the greatest promos people. Layla, love you, girl. Not the greatest promo. Christopher Daniels, how dare you? You should be better than this. Like, what are we doing?
You were going to be the higher power. You're the fallen angel. Like, seriously, Chris. Can I call you Chris?
Might as well. Like, Christopher, get it together. Anyways, but yeah, this was the most Collision thing on Collision, if that makes any sense.
Unfortunately, it does.
Yeah, this reeks of 2022 dark.
Oh no, Benny, you're being generous. You're being so generous. This reeks of like 1999 or 98 Thunder.
Oh my gosh. No. But
No,
also,
not high voltage.
I'm expecting Hugh Morris to pop out, and then like Kevin Sullivan to like start talking about a new faction.
honestly, in this day and age, I honestly don't know who could be popping out. Literally at Death Before Dishonor, you guys, we had the blue meanie become a minion. I was like, what is this?
That makes sense, and that is fun.
This is not.
No.
This, I love y'all, but this was painful to watch.
It was.
Gabe Kid, I love you down, but you be looking like Mighty Mouse with these ears out here, bro. I'm afraid you're gonna fly away. But Gabe Kid doesn't want a match. He wants to fight with Darby Allin. I was just like, they're both gonna die. I mean, that's what it is. I was like, Gabe, I love you down, but you're a fucking psychopath. Like, you're a psychopath. I was just like, that's the character you are. I love you down, but I was like, Darby and Gabe are about to kill each other, and someone's gonna metaphorically and possibly physically die. So yeah, but this also goes to my point that I brought up earlier. It seems like Gabe is gonna be sticking around AEW for a little bit longer, so which I mean is fair because his next show isn't until later in September at Destruction in Kobe, where him and Shingo, it's him and Shingo Takagi will be battling for the IWGP Global Championship. So should be fun. Moving on. We get to the main event, and I was like, oh my God. I had to like clean my glasses. I was like, oh my God, a women's match in the main event? And they actually got time?
I know. I was so happy.
And we progressed storylines at the end?
What?
What was it like? I looked at my phone. And I was like, 20 minutes? What? What?
Like, I was just like, I'm looking around. I was just like, don't play with me, wrestling gods, because I'm thinking it's like, okay, we're gonna get like 10 minutes of match and then 10 minutes of craziness, but nah, this went the full thing, and the beatdown angle afterwards was only like 45 seconds to a minute. This was fun. This was easily my favorite Collision match. And I think this was probably my favorite just because of how much, from like a fun-wise angle, this was probably the funnest match we had. Because again, we throw out the word all-star at AEW all over the place, but honestly, this kind of felt right to me. Because on one hand, you have your heel-ish team of Billy Starks, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart taking on your baby faces and adored by the AEW fandom of Timeless Tony Storm. Everybody wants Mina Shirakawa, and of course Team Juicy herself, Queen Aminata. This was such a blast. I had a good time with this one. I was just like, I love it. I love that Mina doesn't wait for the bell. She starts beating up on people afterwards. She's like, ah! I was like, give me this intense Mina all the time. Also, I'd never want to take a headbutt from Queen because those look like they hurt. I had a blast. This was fun.
I'm glad to see Billy working a little quicker and also safer this time.
Oh, it's been a rough couple months for Billy, but I'm happy that this one worked out for her. Which is crazy because on AEW, I'll be like, Billy, I kind of don't vibe with what's happening right now. And then she's been popping up in GCW. I was like, girl, where is this in AEW? Like, what are we doing?
It's some people shrink in the bright lights, I guess, unfortunately. I mean that with all due respect. I mean that with all due respect. And Aminata was a real standout in this entire match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she did I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was some sort of slam into the chocolate kisses, and I was like what is going on? Like, you I love it that like she's so serious, it's like still being ridiculously funny at the same time. Like, it's hard
She's
to take her
having fun.
serious.
She's having fun. She's having fun. That's all we
Exactly.
need.
Exactly. I don't hate it.
Yeah,
keep it
this is
juicy, as she says.
Team Juicy. Yes, one. I love you, Queen. But yeah, the baby faces ultimately do pick up the victory. So Tony, Mina, and Queen do win here. But then we get everybody fighting at the very there was a lot going on at the end of this. I was just like, blood and guts, blood and guts, blood and guts.
All the mid-card women standing in a row.
I will say though, I mean, it makes sense because Tekla has a punk band, which is amazing. And I'm like, what AEW wrestler doesn't have some sort of hardcore metal or punk band? Because, but to be fair, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. But again, Miss Tekla in this all black ensemble. Yes, ma'am. You get one of these. Yes, ma'am. Like
Ensemble.
Ensemble. But yeah, you're right, JBL. This is all the mid card winning and fighting, and I'm like, blood and guts, blood and guts, blood and guts. But yeah, this is
out Tony. That's crazy.
I was just like, oops. But yeah, you know what? I'm very interested because again, All Out Toronto, Wrestle Dream, and then leading into Full Gear, I was like, we got 3 months to do a bunch of stuff. Let's do it, Tony Khan. Do it. But that brings us to the end of Collision and the end of All Elite Ensemble for this week. It was nice to just go back to Dynamite and Collision after Forbidden Door review last week because I was like, I love this. So I'm super excited because again, we are getting Alex Windsor versus Mercedes Moné tomorrow night on Dynamite for the TBS Championship. And then on Collision, we got Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. So can't wait to see how that goes this week for AEW. But let's check out what the rest of this week for BC WrestlePod entails, right? So really quickly, it's a regular week and we're kind of starting to slowly wipe down, but not really. So tomorrow evening is the double stuffed Wednesday, as we call it around here, with our 2 reviews. First at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, we have NXT, where it will be me and the Pleat father himself, Kilt, who is currently at the taping tonight. So he's going to be standing in for Will, who has to do auditions for Godspell tomorrow. So that's going to be fun to hear from that. But then Will be back later that evening at 8 p.m. Pacific, as Will and I will not only be going over another exciting episode of CMLL, but we are covering the Grand Prix. So the 2025 CMLL Grand Prix is crazy. It's amazing. Of course, we had a bunch of our luchadors participated from CMLL. But if you want to hear us talk about the amazing talent from all these other worldly promotions, like we got a TJP, Michael Oku, Speedball Mike Bailey in Arena Mexico was the best thing ever watching. So if you want to hear our thoughts about that, come tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific. Then on Friday, 7:30 p.m. PST Pacific, the TNA boys are back to review another episode of TNA as we are making our way to Victory Road and then ultimately Bound for Glory. And then we wrap things up this weekend on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific with our WWE review, where we cover our Paris, France Raw that happened on yesterday on Monday. And then we're in Chicago for SmackDown, where the rumors are circulating that we are going to get a Miss AJ Lee appearance, possibly. Don't know about that, but who knows? We'll see what go downs with all that. But yeah, that is going to be it for us here at All Elite Ensemble. I would like to thank JVL and Betty for being here this evening because I cannot do this without them. But we got to get up on out of here because we got things to do and things to talk about. But this is going to be it for us here. We love you. Take care of yourself. Stay iconic. And more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. I will catch you tomorrow for the NXT and CMLL reviews with my friendos who are going to be here. But until then, this is sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.